Hello, my name is Carly. I was a C average student. I wanted to make a channel about being a recovering C average student who's currently going to grad school, which is crazy. If you had asked me 15 years ago when I was in high school if I would ever go to grad school, I probably would have laughed. I probably would have said, grad school, I'm going to be on the cast of Glee. Like, what are you talking about?
Imagination.
But so recently I have been lost, confused, everything you can possibly be when you're in your late 20s and have no idea, still have no idea what you want to do for a career. So this is kind of my vlog of like that whole experience and trying to be really honest about the process. I see a lot of YouTube channels. I follow a lot of YouTube channels about people who are in grad school, getting their doctorate, getting their master's, getting their whatever, how many letters. And none of it reflects who I am as a current grad student. So I kind of wanted to make a space for anyone who might be in the same position as me. Just talking about my history and why I call myself the C average student is because I was a C average student. I wasn't your typical like gifted kid. I had a lot of problems with certain subjects. And despite my experiences, despite my negative experiences, I got accepted to grad school last month and I will be starting there in the fall. So I want to start back in elementary school, which is where I think my C average, I was C average. I need to stop doing air quotes. I have notes on the bottom here, so please forgive my like constant looking down. When I was in elementary school, I had a teacher that told me to stop reading Bridge to Terabithia because it was above my grade level. And I went home and my mom was like, "Why aren't you reading Bridge to Terabithia anymore?" And I was like, "Well, my teacher told me I'm too stupid to read that," is how I interpreted it. To this day, my mom is always reminding me how obsessed I was with the idea of my reading level. Like, I would only read books that were approved for my reading level. And at that time in elementary school, it was on a letter level. So it was like lowest was A, and then you worked your way up to Z. When I was in third grade, I was told, I think like L or M was like my reading level at the time. So the Bridge to Terabithia was more on a sixth grade reading level, was what my teacher told me. And I was really confused when he told me that because I was understanding it. I liked the book at the time. Like, I really enjoyed it. Um, but still, I did stop reading it because he told me that it wasn't on my reading level. So my mom made me finish reading it anyway, but I kind of did it in secret. Like, I didn't want my teacher to know that I had read this book because I thought I would get in trouble for reading it. This lighting is weird. I just know. But then I remember having to read this like longer short story and like these little books that we were given as reading assignments. Um, and I don't remember what the short story was. I remember there were turkeys in it, but I finished reading that, and then we had to have like an oral conversation with our teacher about like what we read, the themes, yada yada yada. And I remember just rambling and rambling and rambling and being really nervous and like talking about the plot of this story. And then I got to the end of talking about the plot, and I remember him looking at me and saying, "You just told me every single little detail about this book." And at first, I didn't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. But then he was like, "You should be reading way above what you are now." And I was like, "I feel like you should have known that when I picked up Bridge to Terabithia on my own." But anyway, so he put me above, like up, he put me up a couple reading levels. And actually, that month, my school had teachers nominate students every month for an award, and every month was a different theme, like best speller, best teammate, like but in that and that month happened to be most improved, and I got the award that month. So that was my first like experience with being told like you're a horrible student. And I still kind of carry that, even though I kind of did like overcome it. It's not easy to get over being told that that's above your reading level. Because in my head, I was like, oh, you're stupid. And I still carry that. So then I got into middle school, and I was always excelling and enjoying language arts and English and reading, and even history. But oh my God, math and science. I hated math specifically. Science was at least a little bit interesting to me.
I'm gonna have to science the shit out of this.
I had a lot of issue comprehending things in science, but I still kind of liked it. Math could not understand at all. I had a parent teacher conference and my teacher asked my parents, why is Carly always turning in her homework with watermarks on it? And it was because I would literally sit there and cry because I did not understand. I could not understand math. So that same theme kind of carried me through high school and college. I was always getting A's and B's in English and history, but math and science, I was consistently getting below a C. Math, I consistently got lower C, D. Oh, D! A lot of tests I failed, and that really affected my opinion of myself. I had a lot of anxiety about getting into college. I really wanted to go to college, hated my hometown. And so I did a lot of extracurriculars, hoping that that would kind of push me through. I was in theater, I played soccer, I did volunteer work at a food bank, I was in choir, I did a lot on top of having a job at Pizza Hut. Thankfully, I was able to get into a decent college, and that was the one of the greatest experiences of my life. I loved college. But I won't lie, I majored in a social life. I started as a theater major, realized I have stage fright, so that didn't last. Then I switched to a journalism major, carried that, graduated with a BA in English with the concentration in journalism. But while I was in school, I really focused on my social life, my extracurriculars, my job. At one point, I was working 3 jobs at the same time as being president of a club and being a full-time student, so my life was kind of hectic. I hung around that C average. Even in some of my English classes, I fell below. I was getting B's and C's instead of A's like I normally did. I kind of let my studies sit on the back burner while I focused on getting more experience rather. Oh, hi, Alex. I started to focus on internships and more experience over my studies, which I kind of regret. I ended up graduating with a 2.6. Alan, excuse you. I ended up graduating with a 2.6 GPA, which definitely could have been higher. At the time, I did consider applying to grad school, but I really didn't think I would get into anything. So I went right into the workforce. Hated it. After I graduated, I went directly into a publishing job, which I hated. That was a really toxic environment for me. So that experience did not end up being something that lasted. I think I was there 3 months. So I left and became a nanny. While I was doing that, I tried to get freelance gigs. I was applying for more full-time jobs. After about a year and a half of nannying, I ended up at a marketing position, which I was okay at. I wasn't horrible at it at first, but then the more I realized this was not the life for me, the worse I got at being dedicated to that job. My last marketing job, I actually ended up being let go, which really, really gutted me, despite how much I hated that environment. Sorry, Alan's asking for belly rubs. So that's what my arm's doing here. I essentially felt like a total failure, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life after that. I didn't know what I could do with my life. In the spirit of being transparent, I was very lucky. I have a partner who's very financially stable. We actually met in college, so he's been with me since my freshman year of college. And while I was door dashing and dog walking when I could, I was being supported, thankfully. I don't think I would be alive if I didn't have that. So now, for the past 10 months, I've actually been in Malaga, Spain, teaching English at a public school. I came to this experience because I was at that point where I was like, I don't know what to do with my life. I don't know what's going on. So I found this program that lets you go teach English in other countries. I looked into Japan, but I had already been to Japan and I really wanted to experience Europe. Before doing this program, I had never been to Europe. So the prospect of Spain was very, very interesting to me because I wanted to travel more of Europe. Also, my entire life, I've been told I should be a teacher by the people outside of my academic life. So I was like, what the hell? Let's give it a shot. And lo and behold, they were right. I've been teaching English as a second language, and I have fallen in love with just teaching and working with kids. I'll be honest, I'm not sure I want to teach high schoolers forever, but despite my experience, I have realized I do love school and I do love learning. And pairing that together with the fact that I love to hear myself talk, teaching really has become my new focus. I think I really want to continue doing it. So, long story short, I got into grad school. I'm going to get my master's in English from Eastern New Mexico University. I'm really excited about getting into this program, and I think I'm going to do an entire separate video on preparing that application based on everything I've told you, based on my anxiety, based on my less than perfect experience. I really didn't think I was going to get into any school. Are you done? Are you done with me? Oh, you're coming back. Here's the other one. Hi, Rebel. They're starting to get restless. Can you go somewhere else, please? Anyway, I'm going to do a whole separate video on my application and how I got in despite my less than perfect experience and like the reasons why I think I got it. And I'm going to try to chronicle my path of trying to become a college professor because I think that's what I want to do. So that's my story. That's what I want this channel to be about. I also really want to talk about books and writing. I am a writer. That's always been what I consider myself to be when I'm alone in my room. So I've been working on a couple different novels, so I might do vlogs about that occasionally. I also have these two creatures here who I love, so I'll definitely talk about them a lot. Yeah. They want to play fetch. I gotta go. Thank you for listening to me yap, and I hope to see you soon. Don't forget to take a deep breath. Bye.